All right, welcome back to Bowling Over 50 Live. Glad to be back. This show is going to be kind of yours tonight. We don't have very many people watching right now, but this show is going to kind of be yours. The chat is open. I'm here to answer any questions, take any comments that you might have. This show is going to be kind of yours, answering any questions or anything like that. Don't have a ton to talk about today as far as what's gone on the week previous. As I mentioned last live, we went to one video a week the last couple of weeks, so we've only got one video really to discuss, the one that came out on Monday, which was getting lined up on a sports shot, so we will talk a little bit about that today. Got some other things that are interesting that we can discuss. But again, the show is yours. Chat, send me questions, comments, tell me whatever you need to tell me. So, since we last spoke, I did bowl league on Thursday. I typically don't bowl a whole lot of leagues in the summer. I do some subbing in one particular league and did sub on Thursday night. Thursday night, my daughter was presented with her 800 ring, finally. It's been probably 3 months since she shot her 800, and it took quite a long time for that ring to get here in the local USBC. Did a little presentation for her on Thursday night. I'm going to try to get this camera a little bit lower. They did a little bit of a presentation for her, and before league on Thursday, she bowls on a team on Thursday nights that I sub with, so I ended up getting to sub with, get to bowl with her on Thursday night. We did not bowl well as a group. The people we were bowling with, one of them was throwing urethane because that's the only ball he had, and another gentleman was throwing a plastic ball that he found in the dumpster. It's an old Columbia 300 blue dot that he found in the dumpster, and he was throwing it right up 12, and so we had a major wiggle down lane. He was just, and it was sliding. Almost nearly a backspin. So when it started to roll, it was rolling just right over the same spot and just depositing a ton of oil down lane. And I tried to go around it. My daughter was trying to go through it. And if she got it to the spot, it came up light. If she missed to the left, she split. And it was just an ugly night of bowling, but super proud. She got a ring. Have not seen a women's 800 ring before, and it looks like an engagement ring. I thought it was going to look more like my 800 ring and just a little more dainty, a little thinner, and it was not. It was, it looked like an engagement ring, which is kind of weird. I asked the local chapter vice president, and she was like, well, we haven't seen a women's 800 ring around here in quite some time. So wasn't real sure what it would look like, but it's really pretty. And she's super excited. Very, very, very proud of her. And so we got that on last Thursday. Been working on my backyard for a month now. Hopefully within the next couple of weeks that will be finished. Maybe I'll take a picture and share it with you guys. It's going to be spectacular. So I was digging holes and moved 6 tons of boulders last weekend. So needless to say, my back was not doing well, my knees were not doing well, my legs were not doing well, and I did have some help. My son came and helped me, and that was great. So, didn't bowl on Monday night. There is a sports shot tournament every Monday night at one of the centers in my local area, and I did not bowl because I was still sore. Tuesday, I went to the center to shoot some videos that will be upcoming in September. And just everything was going wrong. Cameras were running out of juice. I got the videos for September done that I needed to get done, but I needed a couple more videos for August, and those didn't get done. So, threw a lot of shots, did a lot of things, for these videos coming up in September, which is going to be really cool. We'll talk about that here in a moment. And, but I didn't get the one shot that I really needed to get shot, so I'll be going again next Tuesday to shoot some more videos and some more educational stuff. But I was working on some videos on Tuesday, so coming up pretty soon, as you guys have probably realized, I run the high school bowling program here in my area, and so one of the things I do in September is I run a boot camp, and the boot camp is 3 weeks long. It goes on Tuesdays and Saturdays for 3 weeks. So 6 opportunities to get some instruction, and it's basically all fundamental bowling. It starts from the very beginning, of how to pick a ball off the rack all the way to learning how to hook a ball very basically, towards the end of boot camp, and spare shooting. It's all inclusive. It's everything fundamentally you need to know to get started and improve your bowling game. As I will say in these videos, and the first one I just edited today, it's quite lengthy, but there's a lot going on. We learn how to pick up a bowling ball. We learn how to choose the right weight bowling ball for us. Getting started in the right stance, getting in a good finish position, and a no-step drill. So this will be coming out September 6th, which is a Sunday. So the first part of the month of September, our cadence of our videos is going to change. So instead of Monday and Thursday videos coming out, the videos will be coming out on Sunday and Wednesday. So it'll come out the day after the boot camp day, and everything that they are learning in boot camp will be in a video. And the whole idea is to get you guys ready for the season and get your fundamentals right. And I'm excited about this 6-part series. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It is very basic, but I do think as we get better and bowling longer, sometimes we need to break it down to just the fundamentals and make sure that we have our fundamentals correct before we start doing anything else. If our balance is good, if our finish position is good, if our arm swing is good, if our release is good, getting those fundamentals right, I think, is super important to continue to build on your game. And as you're trying new things, as you're working on some of the videos that I've produced in the past and practicing those things, we can't forget about the very basics of bowling and making sure while we're doing these new things that we are still keeping our fundamentals in line with what we're trying to accomplish with adding new things. If adding those new things ruins your fundamentals, then adding the new things is pointless. And so we've got to make sure the fundamentals are right. And we'll have a 6-part series on the fundamentals of bowling starting on September 6th. And that will run for 3 weeks, 2 videos a week for 3 weeks. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be bowling boot camp. Get you ready for the season. So be looking out for that in about a month. I'm excited about that. So then after I was working on some of these videos on Tuesday. I decided there is another sports shot tournament here in where I live, and on Tuesday nights, and I hadn't bowled in a little while, a couple of weeks on a sports shot, so I thought that now would be the time. We got to go back. So let's go back earlier into the day on Tuesday morning. So I did some videos, some stupid videos that nobody watched, about funny little exercises that old people need to do to get on with their day. And they were dumb little videos, and really not that many people watched them, but I think they're absolutely hilarious. And one of them was putting on your shoes, and my stomach getting away, and I'm having trouble breathing, and it was a dumb little video, but I think it was funny. Well, yesterday morning, before I was going to work, I needed to put my shoes and my socks on, and I sprained my ankle putting my sock on. I am not real sure how I did that. But my ankle, it's not swollen or anything. It just hurts. And just putting on my socks. I'm over 50 years old, and things just starting to break down on me, and I can't even put on my socks correctly without hurting myself. So I was concerned I wasn't going to be able to shoot videos, but I ended up getting through that okay. Went to the bowling tournament last night, and my ankle was still hurting a little bit. So yeah, now that's talent. Yeah, exactly. Sprained my ankle putting my sock on. So anyway, my ankle was feeling terrible, and so I was kind of trying to protect it while I was bowling. And I strained my hip, trying to protect my ankle. So we were going to bowl on 48-foot long shark. So game one, I start with the front six, and the front five. I started with the front five, and here's what the bowling gods will do to you. Now, I believe in one God, one Savior, in the Lord Jesus Christ, but sometimes I talk about the bowling gods, little g. And I think it's funny. The bowling gods don't like you to get too confident. So if you make statements that are overly confident, somehow something will happen to you that will cause things to go out of whack. And so I start with the front five, and I start singing the Baby Shark song. Baby shark, da, 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 baby shark. And just to be funny, because it didn't matter where I threw the ball, I was striking. Not only that, but there was another bowler on my pair. I mean, I believe he ended up winning the whole thing. I was so mad that I stormed out, but he shot 230 his first game, and 230 his second game, and 220 his third game. It was not shark. It was way too easy. All you had to do was play the middle part of the lane, and you had miss room to the right, miss room to the left, 48 feet, which is never my forte. Long patterns are not what I am great at. I can get by most of the time, but I am not as proficient on long patterns as I am short patterns. I have been getting better over the last couple of years with long patterns. When I see 48 feet, that gives me 12 feet of hook. That always scares me because the lack of revolutions I have on the ball mean that my ball is not really going to start hooking or attempt to slow down enough to hook until it's about 50, 51 feet. So now I've got 9 feet of hook with low rev rate because the ball hadn't slowed down enough. It's going to slide past that point. And so I've got to keep it pretty tight to the head pin. I've got to use some big equipment, maybe something with a lower RG so it'll at least rev up a little bit faster. But then with that, you're going to have some other issues of it either revving up too quick and then puking out on you, or especially if you're using a big ball with surface on it. Anyway, I threw the Black Widow 3.0 with some surface on it. Looked good. Was playing this baby shark pattern and just super proud of myself. And I stuck and tweaked, trying to protect my ankle. I tweaked my hip in frame 7 or 8 of the first game and finished out with a 214, and then it just went downhill the rest of the way. I was trying to stretch it out, trying to move it around. Probably should have withdrawn because the rest of it was embarrassing. I shoot 190, 180, 180 on something that I should have averaged 220, 230 on, to be frankly honest with you, and was very disappointed. Was sitting there thinking, I'm just getting too old to bowl. I'm just too old to bowl, especially on stuff like this. And just, I was bad mental game, was very frustrated, very upset. And so was a rough day on the lanes for me on Tuesdays. It seems like I was in the house the whole entire time and just didn't get the videos done I wanted to get done. Didn't bowl like I wanted to bowl. They told us in advance that it was going to be shark, and I still bowled anyway, but it was not hard. It was really fairly easy, and I hung in there. I was in the top half for most of it. I think after my back-to-back 180s, I fell below the top half, but I didn't really look because it didn't matter anyway. But congratulations to the people that did win that. I think I bowled with John Hannell, and man, he was just tearing it up. He went 234, 234, 224. And I can't remember what he shot his last game because I couldn't get out of there fast enough. So that's my bowling for the week. The last video that came out on Monday. Is not taking off. It's how to get lined up on a sports shot. So we'll talk a little bit about that. I brought in Stefan Wood. Stefan Wood. He is a little higher rev rate bowler with the thumb in it. He's my best friend's son. He's a really good bowler. He's a silver level coach. And we both, the way the video goes is we both talked through how we were going to get lined up on a sports shot that we didn't have a graph of. We just had to figure it out on our own. Had a couple of comments that were good on that people were bowling some sports shot leagues and didn't know what the pattern was, and they wish the video had come out before their league. So I think it's really great information. It's good information on how I get lined up on something that I haven't seen, and then for somebody with a little higher rev rate, what he is seeing and how he goes about it. Our methodology is very, very similar. So in general, we're doing some of the same things to get lined up. But with his higher rev rate, he has to look at the lane a little differently. We ultimately, both of us got lined up and were, playing the same break point down lane, not knowing what the pattern is. We're just throwing shots, and we both come together, and it's interesting to see that we both are playing the exact same break point, even though our rev rate is completely different. So I think it's a video that if you are bowling any kind of sport patterns or planning on going to nationals next year and you want to get better at what you see on the lane, I think this video is really, really good. And then on Thursday, tomorrow, Stefan and I actually bowl a match against each other. Sports shot on one lane, house shot on another lane, and we bowl a match against each other. So make sure you stay tuned to that. That's coming out tomorrow at noon tomorrow. And I think it's great information. The little match against each other, it's not something I do a lot of. One, because I shoot most of my videos before the bowling center even opens, and so it makes it a little bit more difficult to have matches at that time because there's not that many people that I can bowl against. And this channel, Bowling Over 50, is instructional. It's meant to be instructional. That's kind of what the goal is for it. I will continue to teach and do little tidbits and techniques and instruction. And that's what this channel will always be about. But I will occasionally sprinkle in maybe some matches. And actually then after that, I think this weekend, let me look real quick. Yeah, over the weekend. Yeah, we've got another video. We're going to have 3 videos this week. We have another video coming out this weekend where we bowl on the same sports shot and the house shot with a two-hander, youngster, throwing nothing but plastic. So we'll have actually 2 match videos. Not going to tell you how either one of those turn out. Don't want to spoil the fun. But yeah, we're going to bowl on the same sports shot with plastic ball and see who wins that, the two-hander or the high rev one-hander or the old man. We'll see how that pans out. I'm usually pretty good with plastic. I like to keep things straighter and tighter, where both of those guys like to open up their angles a little bit. So tune into those. I think you'll enjoy those and watch how that pans out. So that's the bowling. That's what's going on Bowling Over 50. Again, starting in September, so about a month away, we'll start with our boot camp, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun for people to watch. And make sure you just get tied into your fundamentals, and I explain in gross detail on the fundamentals of every aspect of bowling over the course of 6 videos. And those will start on September 6th. Well, again, the chat is open. Last week we had a lot of people in the chat. We kind of got off track. We answered a bunch of questions and did a bunch of things last week. So I encourage you to chat with me. If not, we're going to get finished a little bit earlier today. Because I didn't have a ton to talk about. We talked about all that already. I do have one other thing that so I was working on a video about a little problem that I have when things get tough, when my mental and the problems with my swing that happen when I get frustrated, when things get tough, when I don't feel like I can bowl correctly and handle things correctly. And I'm a control freak. So when things feel a little out of control, which in bowling, which is interesting, bowling is out of control because you can't see what you're throwing on. And so I was shooting this video yesterday to explain my issue. And, of course, one of my cameras fails, and then one of my microphones goes out. And so I shoot the entire video, not knowing that my equipment is failing. And so this will be the 3rd attempt at this video next Tuesday. But I started thinking about I started thinking about my mental game and the problems that I have with my mental game. Got a question in the chat. Is this the same time every week on the same day? I try to. I only do this once a week. We've been really consistent over the last 4 weeks. So I am attempting to do this every Wednesday at 6 p.m. But life is going to get in the way for me. I do own several businesses. I do this YouTube channel. I run the high school bowling program. I coach bowling. And I never seem to be at home. And sometimes things get sprung up on me that prevent me from doing this every Wednesday. My wife actually forgot that I was doing this week. Or today, and she wanted to go have dinner with me, and I had to bow out of that because I'd already scheduled it. But if you want to know whether the videos this live is going up, usually by noon I will post on YouTube in the live section a scheduled video, and it'll say upcoming. If you see that little icon that says upcoming, that means I am planning on doing a live, and it will be Wednesdays at 6 o'clock. I won't have any other time because my weeks kind of look like this. I sub or bowl on Monday night. High school bowling is on Tuesday. Wednesday, I'm going to try to do these videos. Thursday night, I am bowling in my regular league. Friday night, I will be watching my son's football team. He's a football coach and a basketball coach, so I'll be watching games on Friday. Saturday, I have high school bowling. Sunday, I go to church. So Wednesday is the only night that I have any opportunity to do this, and with everything else that I do, I can't be as consistent with it as I want. And to be honest, we don't get a ton of people. Most of the people watch these lives after the fact. I mean, we get anywhere from, right now we got 2 viewers right now. 2. Hi, guys. But we'll get a couple 100 to 300 people watching the lives after the fact. So that's not quite as important. So anyway, going back to what I was talking about. So I started thinking about my mental game, and I did. I started thinking about when I was shooting this video, what is going wrong with my brain? Now, I just did a video, a month or so ago about mind games and trying to talk to yourself better and trying to have a better mental attitude. And got a lot of views on the video. But this is another situation where do as I say, not as I do. And I started thinking while I'm shooting this video, what is going through my brain? And I brought out a book that I'm going to recommend for, that I recommend highly. If you are having trouble with your mental bowling game, here is the book I recommend. It's called Bowling in Motion. Let's see if I can, everything's backwards. It's by Josh Blanchard. He was a professional bowler, and then he started running the West Coast regional. But anyway, I highly recommend this book, Bowling in Motion. I think you can find it on Amazon. I'm not getting paid for this, so it is. Josh is an interesting character and had a really strong mental game. He's also, if you might have seen a video of a professional who got to the foul line, didn't release the ball, and ended up falling into the gutter without releasing the bowling ball, and falls pretty hard. That's Josh Blanchard. So had a pretty strong mental game, and I started reading it again this week, because I have to take this in little bitty sections because it is really deep and there's a lot of technical stuff in it and a lot of things talking about the brain and how the brain works and how you apply that to bowling. And I started thinking about this one section that Josh brings up, which is that voice in your head. And my voice in my head, he tells us there's words we should eliminate. And the words we need to eliminate are don't, can't, have to, need to, should, try, or just. Those are words that he suggests we eliminate and replace with do. Replace all those words with do. So, like for instance, we even talked about it here in this live stream. I don't bowl well on long patterns. I should eliminate that. I shouldn't think that way. I do bowl well on long patterns. I'm not real sure that's realistic, but that's what I need to start telling myself. When I was shooting this video and going through this little challenge that I have about control, the thought process in my brain is I can't control this aspect of the way I want this ball to move. I need to replace that. That I can. That I do. I can and do make this ball do what I want it to do. So if you're out there listening to me, the few people that are, let's all kind of start changing our stinking thinking. And I think we just go down rabbit holes in bowling, especially, is things are not going the way you want them to go or how you thought they should go. There's something going on with somebody you're bowling with that's causing you issues. And we start getting frustrated because we can't make the ball do this, or we can't throw the ball here. And we really just need to change our thinking, our methodology. And when I'm pointing at you, there's 3 more fingers pointing right back at me, because this is the problem that I have as being a control freak. In bowling, you just can't do that. You've got to open your mind and make sure that you can allow information to come into your mind instead of all the negative things that are going on in your brain. Got a couple of comments that we'll get to here. Craig Whammy number 8. Are you familiar with the technique called early eye? Familiar? Yes. Understand it? No. I have heard the term, and that might be as far as I've gotten with that, so maybe you can help me with that. Virgil Middledorf. I struggled last week. If I missed a little left, the ball would cross the face. If I missed a little right, I would hit the pocket too light. Seemed it was longer oiler pattern than normal. I just mentioned that earlier. Are you watching who you're bowling with and what kind of bowling equipment are they using? Ultimately, in league, a lot of the bowlers, depending on how many bowlers are on a team, if it's a 4 or 3-man team, if you're not watching what they're throwing and where they're throwing it, you could be creating yourself some problems that you don't need. For example, on Thursday night, we had a guy throwing urethane kind of around second arrow, maybe the 8 or 9 board. We also had a guy kind of pointing an old Columbia 300 blue dot that is super hard, and he was almost throwing it with a little bit of backspin, which meant when they were rolling the ball through the hook spot, it was actually depositing oil in the location where not only I, but my daughter was trying to hit. So if we hit our spot, the ball would skate a little bit, come in light. If we missed left, well, if my daughter missed left, she would split. She wouldn't get across the head pin, and she would split. For me, I was throwing in that same spot, and I would normally throw a pearl ball in that spot, and it was just skating and wiggling as it went down the lane and leaving me all kinds of single pins. I think I had 14 single pins in 36 frames. That's a lot. And that was because of this little wiggle that I had because of where these guys were throwing their shots. And they were not accurate, so they were kind of all over the place. But I was watching what they were throwing, and so I was trying to go around it, leaving too many 10 pins, tried to go inside it. And then I was getting into where my daughter was playing, so it would overhook a little bit. I wasn't going Brooklyn, but it was really high flush. I struck a couple of times there, but it was high flush and ugly. So pay attention to who you're bowling with and what kind of equipment they're throwing, and understand what that equipment can cause your bowling ball to do, and how we can talk about how to combat that. But my general comment would be you're either going to have to get left of that spot or right of that spot. And depending on how the ball was finishing, when it was hooking, what equipment you're going to end up having to use. My new saying is, I am stinking good. I can stink and strike. I like this. I'm stinking awesome. I like that. So I'm pausing for a moment because, I tell myself that all the time. I don't care what game I'm bowling, whether I'm bowling a sports shot or bowling on a house shot league or whatever. I start that game thinking I'm going to shoot 300. I'm feeling confident. If I get the first strike, I'm feeling very confident that I'm going to shoot 300 that game. I tell myself all the time, you're good at this game. I mean, you're really good at this game. You're really accurate and you're really good at this game. And then by the 6th or 7th frame, that is not what I'm telling myself anymore. I'm usually telling myself what an idiot I am and how stupid I am. And so I've got to, again, stop the stinking thinking. Just changing my stinking way of thinking. Exactly. Craig Whammy, number 8 again, YouTube channel, Tilly's Adventures. I just did a video on that. I was interesting. It was interesting. I kind of tried it today in League. It actually helped with targeting and launch angle. Okay, well, good. Good. You've seen me bowl. Well, if you're watching my YouTube channel, you've seen me bowl. Have you seen me bowl in person? I don't know. Are you from this area? I am okay. I'm an okay bowler. I'm better than average. I would say that. I need to keep telling myself that. And sometimes I don't tell myself that. I tell myself the exact opposite of that, which is you suck. That's the early eye technique. Oh, okay. All right. I will try to find that. I have heard of it, but I don't quite understand it. Maybe I need to understand it. Well, good. I'm glad you watch all my videos. I appreciate that. Thank you for doing that. The cool thing is, you guys, this needs to be said, is I don't cut a lot of things out. There have been occasions when I have edited things out, but normally what you see, I show you every shot, good or bad, because we all throw good shots and we all throw some atrocious shots, and I don't want people thinking that I'm better than I really am. I'm going to throw some bad shots sometime. Everybody does. Hopefully when I'm throwing those, that I'm talking about why I did what I did and what I need to do to correct it. And I think that's what makes my channel so interesting, is that, yeah, we may be talking about one specific thing. I make a mistake in another fundamental area and I mention it. And that is, I hope that's why people are kind of coming to the channel and learning and appreciate what I'm doing, because I'm unscripted. I don't have a script on anything I do. I just turn the cameras on, start talking, and I make mistakes in my speech and the things that I'm talking about. I may even tell you, matter of fact, the video that comes out, I think in the video that just came out on Monday, I think I told you I moved left and I actually moved right. I mean, I do dumb stuff like that. But, I am unscripted. I try to show every shot, good or bad. You need to see the bad ones too, because I'm not perfect. Nobody is. We make mistakes. The body just doesn't perform the way we want it to perform. So, I want to show everything. I do cut a few things out. I hate when I miss spares, and you see me miss spares all the time, and I don't cut them out most of the time. Viking, yesterday I started well, got my timing and accuracy. It was awesome. 254. That's awesome. The wheels fell off and I didn't bowl well the rest of the day. High game blues, I'm wondering. I've got a video planned, haven't shot the video yet, but I do have a video planned about that specific scenario where things go really, really well, and then all of a sudden they go really, really wrong. Because I have some ideas about that. I don't think we change as much as we think we do. Meaning our game does not change as much as we think our game changes in a 3-game league block. I think it is understanding how lanes transition. And I mentioned it a minute ago. Watching what your competitors and even your teammates are doing to get an idea of how the lane should transition and trying to stay ahead of that. I think we need some education on that. I think we need you guys to learn about that. And I've got a video that I have planned. Now, we talk to a lot of bowlers who are over 50. We do have some beginning bowlers coming to the channel and some intermediate bowlers who have been bowling for quite some time that are just trying to pick up a few things. But I think we all get bogged down that small moves might be the answer. Sometimes not. Sometimes you have to make big moves, and us bowlers that are over 50, that are lower rev rate, sometimes we have to suck it up and do the right thing. So I've got a video planned about that, that I hopefully will be coming out this month. He also explains a technique called fake eye. Well, I'm going to have to watch this. That sounds interesting. I'm not real sure what any of that means, but I will try to find that video and see if it can add to my game. I'm always up for learning things. I'm always trying new stuff anyway. Have to tell you, burned in my brain is the exercise of putting on my socks, laugh out loud, putting on my socks, and I'm thinking of your video nearly every day. Well, I'm glad you watch. You're one of the very few people that actually watch that video. When I joke around, even with friends, they cannot tell if I'm being serious or I'm joking. And when I watched these and edited those videos, I noticed the exact same thing. It looks like I'm being totally serious, but I am not serious at all. I'm just making fun of things as you get older in those videos that seem easy, but as you get old and fat like me, become a lot more difficult. And I cannot believe that I don't know if I sprained it. I strained my ankle putting on my socks yesterday morning. So if you haven't heard that part of it, I had to shoot videos yesterday, was going to bowl in a tournament last night, and putting on my left sock on my slide foot, I strained my ankle. And to be honest, it still hurts. Today, I have had to get up multiple times to move around the office and go see employees and work on various projects, and I am having trouble moving on that ankle. On top of which, I hurt my hip. Because I was trying to guard and protect my ankle, I ended up sticking and hurting my hip. So I'm falling apart left and right now. I've got a shoulder issue, which is getting better. Met with a doctor yesterday on that. Now hip, ankle. I'm supposed to bowl tomorrow night. Boy, it's just, getting older is not for the weak. That's what makes it so funny. I guess only a few of us really got that from the beginning. Yeah, you're one of about 1,000 people that have got those videos. I thought they were going to be much more well received, and they were not. So actually, what's more well received are my short videos that I post about me dancing around. I don't understand why. I think it's funny because I do dance a lot. I dance when I strike. If you watch me in league, one of these days we need to, I think I did record league when my daughter shot 800, but we need to record again in league because we all get a little crazy and we have a whole lot of fun. I'm only a 150 average bowler. I'm only a 150 average bowler. Last night in league, I tweaked my back, got a cramp in my right calf, and shot 50 pins over my average. I wish that had happened to me last night. And Craig, I want to let you know, the whole night, I tweaked my hip in the 7th or 8th frame in the first game. And then I go open. I think I go back 3 opens in a row. So it must have been 7th, 8th, and 9th frame. I go open, and then strike out in the 10th for a 214. And then I go to the next game, and I'll tell you, I thought the entire night, because the pattern was so easy, that if I just can stay on top of my foot, stay on top of my knee, and don't lean one way or the other, that I was going to shoot 230, 240. And I thought that every game, even into the last game. Until I got to the end of the game, and then I'm thinking, man, I need to withdraw from this tournament because I really, really hurt. But I'm like, no, I'll keep going. I know I can do this. And so I go to the next game, and I'll throw a few shots, maybe a 3-bagger or whatever, staying on top of my knee, like I've talked about in my videos. But that's the goal, to keep my head in line with my knee and my toe and keep everything in line. It was when I swung my trail foot around, which is where I was ended up having the trouble with that hip. And it would just this instant like knife in my side, and I would pull the ball left. And I did it all night. So I'm thinking the whole time I'm bowling, okay, what can I do to compensate for this little pull left when things hurt? Or when I get that little twinge? And then will it affect if I actually can stay on top of my knee and don't hurt myself? Because I'm very honest here. This is completely honest, and I know this is going to sound that I'm lying. But if I threw a good shot that hit the mark I was aiming for, not only at the arrows but down lane, I struck every single time. It was the ones where I got a little leaning to the left or the right, and the hip went ouch, and that knife was jabbed in my hip. That I would just pull it a board or two left. I mean, it was just like this little jerk reaction when the hip hurt. But if I threw it right and stayed on top of my knee and kept my head balanced and hit my mark, I struck every single time. I still can't believe you're a 150 average bowler. So keep watching the channel. I think once we get into boot camp, we've talked about that here, boot camp in September, and start practicing those things that we're doing in boot camp, even though they are extremely basic. I think your average is going to improve. And I think if you can just find one more spare a game, so make sure you go back and really study my spare shooting. We will have a spare shooting video in the boot camp videos. So make sure you're watching that. You pick up one more spare a game and you're now a 160 bowler. Get one more strike a game and you're going to be now in the 170s, 180s. So you're right there. You're right there. Okay. I've used a Brunswick bionic wrist contraption. I have rheumatoid arthritis in my middle finger and hand, so it's really been difficult using that. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of wrist braces, because it doesn't give you your flexibility this way and this way. So your release becomes very, very stiff, and you're going to rely on making the wrist turn to get revolutions on the bowling ball. I would do whatever I could to try to eliminate that wrist brace as much as you possibly can. But I understand that there's just some people with the arthritis and using the wrist brace is the only way to keep you bowling. And so but do whatever you can. I mean, get yourself up. I have beside my chair at home, cause I have arthritis in my fingers and I'm carpal tunnel in my wrist. Because I do graphic art and work on a computer all day long. And so I do have some wrist issues myself. I keep by my chair in my man cave. Sometimes it's a tennis ball, but most of the time I get one of those spring deals, to work on grip strength. And it also builds your forearm to help you with controlling your wrist. And while I'm sitting there watching TV, I'm squeezing this thing and squeeze. And that really helped me to a point where I feel stronger in my wrist, where I have gotten rid of, I did have a wrist brace, for a number of years, and I just wanted to get rid of the thing. So I have done everything possible. Not only that, but sometimes I'll take a, elastic band. Now, I am not a physical therapist. I am not a doctor. I know nothing about this. I'm telling you what I have done. And I'm not even recommending you do this. This is just what I have done. The squeezy thing, but then I've taken an elastic band and put it around my foot, and then I work on pulling that towards me to build up my forearm. And then I let it go all the way back where my wrist goes this direction to work on full range of motion. And after the course of maybe 3 or 4 months of really working on my hand strength and working on my forearm strength, I was able to get rid of my wrist brace, and things have improved. But I shot my first 3 300s with a wrist brace on. So there is that. Matter of fact, I think I shot my very first 800 wearing a wrist brace as well. So it's not impossible. Maybe you can get, okay, find a wrist brace and strap it on and do a demonstration. I've got a wrist brace that I carry with me in my bag. It's not one of those bionic wrist braces, the one where it has the key where you can adjust the angle of your wrist. I don't have one of those. Mine was just an old Robbie straight one. I carry that with me just in case I have a problem with my wrist when I'm bowling a tournament and I need to get through it, because I am not one that likes to quit. So, I do know someone who has one. Maybe I'll give it a try and do just to see what it's like, because I've never really used one of those. I've seen them before. I've seen a lot of people use them, and they can get your wrist in a decent spot. And I think there's one that might help you go this way with it just a little bit, so you can actually have a little movement in your wrist, but it does protect your wrist from overexertion. And you've had your knees replaced. My goodness. I am on my way to that myself. I'm going to go as long as possible without doing it. My left knee is definitely worse than my right. It's the question I get the most often on my videos is, why am I so far from the foul line? I did have knee surgery recently. Well, not recently, within the last 8 or 10 years. 10 years. And I just found some things out during that period about ball roll and ball motion that people are going to have a real hard time convincing me that I'm wrong. I've never seen any documentation from anybody that says I'm wrong. And it's really hard to argue with my ball roll sometimes, with how far I am from the foul line. And there is a physics reason why I do that. That is why I'm working my way back to 180. This is what I used to be when I was, because my knees are not back to normal yet. Well, keep working at it. Keep watching my videos. I think you're going to be fine. 180 is a good goal, and I think you can get there pretty quick. You need one more strike and 2 more spares, or 3 more spares. But it would be much more fun to strike. And you're a double away. Really, you're just a double away. So back to back. I worked in surgery for 10 years as an orthopedic surgical assistant. Do not put it off. Get it as soon as they tell you to qualify. The longer you are, the better the recovery. I understand that, and I will take your advice. The Storm Power Glove isn't bad. I have seen that. I have seen people using it. Arturo Quintero uses that, or has used it in the past, and he actually puts the little pad on his heel of his hand. And I've bowled with him when he was using that. He doesn't speak very good English, so I asked him about it, but we didn't really get a great answer about the Power Glove. I've seen it. It looks interesting. Haven't tried it. Again, I worked really hard to get my wrist where it is right now. And I don't know if I'm right now, I don't want to go to that right there, but it is interesting. Virgil, when I started league bowling in the 90s, a teammate was 99 years old. That's awesome. My mother was a very, very good bowler. She was a pro bowler, and she bowled, really, I got to bowl league with her for several years as we both got a little older, and she bowled until really about maybe, I don't know, a little over a year before she passed away. I did take her to the lanes. Matter of fact, when she went downhill really, really fast, she had bowled, that was on a Friday, I know the day specifically, and she had bowled league the Thursday night before that, and never was the same after that particular point in league. But I have some videos of her getting her to throw her last shots as a bowler, even though she knew she was a bowler. She had forgotten that she was a bowler and had forgotten how to do it, but her body actually did it without her thinking about it. And some really cool video. I need to show that sometime. I understand not being a fan of the pads. I'm not either. I thought it was interesting. I'm not really sure what the pads do, but because I like to feel the ball in the palm of my hand. To that point, if you watch me actually put the ball on my hand, you're going to see me cramming the ball onto my hand. I mean, go back and watch my videos. I get my fingers in there and they're pretty tight, but then when I put my thumb in, I am actually shoving the ball onto my thumb. My thumb is extremely tight, and I continue to use tape to make sure my thumb is extremely tight. Part of the reason why I hit up on the ball sometimes, if my thumb does something a little funky, I don't have any wiggle room, but I am cramming the ball on my hand because I want to feel it on my palm. I'm controlling it with my forearm and the palm of my hand, and I want the ball to sit directly on my palm. So putting those pads on this part of your heel of your hand, I just don't understand. So maybe I'll do some reading about that. Okay, Craig says, sorry to keep you so long, but have you seen the new insert that Storm has developed? Goes into the fingertips and it measures ball motion and speed rotation. I have not. I have not seen that. I have always thought that technology will get to the point where we would be able to do that, because I know in golf, they've got things that you can put on the back part, the grip, in the grip to be able to do that. Some things that they can put on the head for club head speed. So I have been waiting on the day when you can put something in your bowling ball to measure speed and rotation. So if they have done that, I'm excited, and I will be getting one for sure. I've tried the 10-pin toolkit. Not really tried it. I didn't want to pay for the app, so I put it on my phone, but I didn't want to pay for all the funky little features it has on revs and ball speed and things of that nature. I mean, people are always asking me what my ball speed is and what my revolutions are, and I really don't know. Don't know. I have no idea what my ball speed is, and because the center I bowl in doesn't have anything on the monitors, and even the monitors are not really accurate either. They're measuring speed down lane and not coming off your hand, which is more important, because down lane, it would depend on the ball that you're throwing. If you're throwing a big cover ball, the ball's going to slow down faster, and it may slow down before it gets to those markers. You're throwing a pearl ball, it may slide past that, and the actual speed is still slowing down. So I'm more interested in what the ball speed is off my hand. That's where the true indication would be, and there's a lot of variables there. And then, I have been on Specto before, but that was a long time ago. I haven't gone back to the ITRC recently, which I plan on doing that to kind of see where my revs are, because I know I've been adding revs over the last few years because I've been working on it. But I still don't know what my revs are. Supposed to be here in September, October. Okay. I am very excited about that. The strange thing about the glove, it helps me get the thumb out. I normally bruise the back of my thumb even with tape. Okay. I don't really know what question to ask there. If I remember anything about the Power Glove, the thumb is missing, yes. And then if you if it is missing the thumb, how far is it missing the thumb? So can you get it all the way to the heel of your thumb? Which is kind of my whole point when I'm cramming the ball in there. I want to get it all the way down so it rests all the way on my palm so I can control the thing. I use lane tracks. Okay, never have. I'll take a look at that too. Yes, Viking also helps me out of my thumb using it. My thumb release is much better. Okay, with the Power Glove. Okay, I'm gonna have to take a look at that. I mean, chances of me using something like that are going to be very slim, but I'll certainly take a look at it. Lane tracks measures all those things: launch angle, speed, rev rate. But it also an app that you have to pay $9.99 a month for. Well, there you go. I'm not spending $100 a year on an app. Just me personally. Bowling is expensive enough. Thumb fits all the way in. Don't understand why it works, but it does. Okay. 2 people are telling me that it works, so, I'm going to look into it and see what I think. All right, we're over an hour now. It's probably time to shut this thing off. You guys have been great tonight. Got a video coming out tomorrow, little match video, so stay tuned for that. And then coming up, oh boy. It's the video that will probably get 10,000 watches, I'm guessing. I am doing another release video. But it's not what you think. Anytime I do a release video talking about releasing the bowling ball, my views go way up. But this is not what you think. So stay tuned for that next week. I appreciate you guys, and thank you for watching. Thank you for making Bowling Over 50 as popular as y'all have made it. We really just started in January, and we're almost at 11,000 subscribers, which I think is phenomenal, unbelievable. Great comments, and people have, I love the comments when people tell me that they are improving and that their average has gone up and that my videos are helping and that they like what they're seeing because I seem very real and it's not so overproduced. I'm trying to get better with the videos, but keep in mind, I shoot the videos myself. I don't have any help. I edit the videos myself. I don't have any help. And so, it's kind of hard to overproduce things when it takes several hours to edit one video, with all the different camera angles that I have. So, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for supporting. Bowling Over 50 has been just a joy of mine. And you're welcome for the teaser. Oh, we got a new guy. All right. Speed Dominant, Jim, Speed Dominant just bought the strategy. 55 by 4 by 15. Is that a good layout? I think you're probably new to the channel and certainly new to live. And, I will tell you that layouts, I'm trying to watch my words. I am not so concerned about the exact layout of a ball as I am if that particular layout matches the ball and matches what I want to see the ball do. Without knowing your PAP, without seeing you bowl, without seeing your axis tilt, your axis rotation, really hard for me to go yes or no to that question. Because of my tilt and my rotation and what I do, some of the layouts that I actually enjoy don't work for anybody else in the world. I throw equipment all the time that was never big in the pro shop, but it works for me just because I laid it out to fit what I wanted that particular ball to do and what I wanted it to see. Now, I have a ton of equipment, and I use only Brunswick. I'm a Brunswick guy. And I buy bowling balls for the core, and then I lay them out to either maximize what that core does or minimize what that core does to get the ball to fit in my arsenal where I want it to fit. So I just can't answer that question intelligently. The new strategy is a brand new ball that I do not have. I don't know if it actually fits what I need to fill out the rest of my arsenal. I get a few pieces of equipment every year. I get about 5 bowling balls a year plus a few that I buy. And I'm not real sure. I haven't looked at the numbers on that, and I don't really start looking at numbers on the strategy or any of the new equipment until I'm ready to get the equipment that I'm going to be bowling with for the next year, and if it fits in my arsenal for other things. I will tell you this, that's a strong layout, but without knowing your axis tilt, your axis rotation, and your PAP, and watching you throw the ball, knowing your ball speed, and kind of getting an idea of how many revs you have on it. Again, it would be by my eye and not by some figure of what I see your ball doing. I can't tell you whether that's a good layout or not. My YouTube does not allow us to be notified of all your videos on a subscription level. Do you know of what way we can be notified whenever you release a new video? I have several people that have hit the bell notification. If you subscribe to the channel, I don't think you have to be a member, and hit the bell notification. You will be notified of videos and when they're coming out. I've got a couple of people, one guy in the office, he gets a bell notification when a new video drops. You can become a member. There's a couple of things you can become a member on that will give you early access to some of these videos, although I'm not real good about that, so I make it really cheap. But we do have one upper subscription level that's a members only, that you're allowed to actually send me video, and I will analyze your video and send it back to you. I haven't promoted that yet because we're still working out some details. But what will happen is you get the highest member level. You will go to icegear.shop and upload your videos to icegear.shop. Those will then come to me. I will analyze them, and then I will do a video back to you on the members only platform. And not only will you see that video, but other people can actually watch the coaching part of what I'm doing. But again, it's up, it's running, but I haven't promoted it yet. Thank you for looking forward to your channel. All right, Jim. Good deal. Oh, you already are a member, but yeah. I don't know why the membership, make sure you still hit that bell notification. I know guys here, I hear it when the video drops at noon. There's a couple of guys here in my office that work for me that I hear the bell notification go off. So, I'm not real sure what's going on there. I can't subscribe to my own channel, so I don't know how that all works, but I think you can hit that bell notification and it will notify you. Also, it will notify you once I schedule the live. That gets notified as well, because I scheduled that this morning at about 11 o'clock, and I heard the ding in the office over there. So I'm not sure. I don't know everything about YouTube right now. I know how to load a video. I know how to do a thumbnail. Some of this other stuff is beyond me. And I know how to get on live, which, if you came to some of my early lives, that was a challenge as well. All right. Notification bell says disabled for child content. That's interesting. I'm going to look at that right after I will look at that right now as soon as we get off here and before I head home, which we do need to end this, and I will look at that, and maybe by next week, you can ask me that same questions. Okay, that's, some people it works, sometimes people it doesn't. Virgil got his notification today, so I guess it works. Guys, I really do need to go. Thank you very much. Make sure one of the comments this week, I think it's very important, that I want to mention before I get off, which is, don't be doing some of these videos, don't be trying some of these videos when scores matter. Make sure you're getting out there and doing some practice. It only takes a couple of games to work on some of the things that I'm teaching here, so make sure you take those to practice. Try to get better, because when you get better, bowling is more fun, and I want you to get out there and have fun and good bowling.